Feel like it's been forever since I filmed the last one of these videos. January just went by really slow, and it's like seemed like there was like a lot going on, in general. But I've been listening to a ton of music this month. If you thought I was listening to a lot of, if I thought I was listening to a lot of music last month, I just like took it up even more of a notch. Like I've just been really listening to tons of music. I've just been just loving it so much. It's been digging in, and I I was looking into a lot of metal last month, like I said, and it's just been like even more insane this month. I feel like just going back to older metal that I like didn't really listen to as much at the time when I knew about a lot of this stuff when I first like got into more extreme metal music, but it wasn't one of the ones that I like clung on to and like didn't really love the sound as much at the time. But I feel like I've just like grown since that time and just been wanting something like a lot of this music and like getting into more just subgenres of things and just like the classics of those subgenres. And I just really been loving it so much, and it's just been so much fun. And I just realized just like how much I just love metal music and just how comforting metal music is to me, and just any like in that just whole like metal sphere, and it's just been so comforting to me, and just I just love it so much. I just really been loving listening to a lot of this music. So I've got a lot of stuff written down here for today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to jump right in here and start talking about what I've been listening to. Last month, the big artist was Immortal, and I've still have been listening to Immortal quite a lot actually throughout the months, like here and there. Um, it's mostly Sons of Northern Darkness and Damned in Black. Those are like I've really been coming back to those, and just really been enjoying the sound from those. I just wasn't really into that as much when I like discovered them on the first go around. I was mostly into their like really early stuff, especially like Pure Holocaust, and I've just been really liking more of the stuff like they've been going into like bands that like came like kept doing stuff in the early 2000s and stuff that I just didn't turn I just turned my mind off to, I guess, like to not get too overwhelmed the first time I was like digging into stuff. But I've really been loving going back and listening to stuff like that. And one that kind of goes along with that kind of style of Immortal is Dark Funeral. And I mentioned them last time too, but the beginning of this month and just like throughout the month, but mostly really at the beginning, I remember listening to them quite a lot. Specifically their two albums. There's one of their early albums called I think it was their second full length Vobiscum Satanas, and one of their newer albums, Where Shadows Forever Reign. And I've been really digging both of those albums. They're both really solid, just like kind of just black metal, just straight up kind of black metal. A lot of people talk about them kind of being as like I don't know, just like when you think about black metal, like they're just like playing just like straight up black metal. And I just didn't like when I first got into like more like black metal and stuff. I didn't really like the more like sound like this, like I guess somewhat more polished to an extent, um, but I've just been really liking it, and just been enjoying that. And kind of in that same sphere too, I'm listening to a later Mayhem album. Came out in like 2006, I think. It's Chimera, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I really like the album cover on this one, and I just haven't really dug too much into further into Mayhem stuff. I mean, everybody's talked about their first full length, and of course Death Crusher EP and stuff, like the old stuff when all the craziness was going on, but never like dug too much more into their stuff. And this one has really been like clicking with me to listen to this. I've never been like huge on Mayhem. I mean, I know all about Mayhem, and they were a big pioneering band within the Norwegian black metal, second wave black metal. But I just never really just like love their sound. Like when I never really listened to them that much when I was getting into black metal. But I just preferred other Norwegian bands. But I've really been liking this album, and it's really just solid and good black metal from like the 2000s. And the first like big artist on here, the one I just really like excited about and gotten into this month, is the artist Necrophagus, which is a technical death metal band that came out of like the late 90s, early 2000s, and just like very very influential within the genre. And just like technical death metal, like I've never really like gotten like super into it. Like I've like listened to like Suffocation, Pierce Within, like in recent years, like kind of gotten into that. But I just never really liked the more technical stuff. For when I first was getting into stuff, I just liked the old school sound, wanted to that stuff when I first got into it. But now I've been really liking the technical stuff. And um, Necrophagus, they only released two full length albums. I've been listening to both of them. They're just like fairly interchangeable for me. They definitely have a different feel somewhat to them. Um, but Epitaph is more like it sounds just like a little bit more like polished, I guess. And then like Onset to Putrefaction, the first album, um, is more kind of like brutal and like gritty ish sounding. And on the first album they used a drum machine, and then on the second Epitaph they used actual drumming. And I really wouldn't even known. I would just wouldn't didn't know like on the first one that they were using a drum machine. Like you can't really tell that much, I guess. But I like both of them very much. I just really just I listen to them back to back when I listen to Necrophagus. I just listen to both the albums, and I just really been loving them. They're just like really solid, awesome sounding, incredible guitar playing, and just instrumentation is just incredible. And it's really been fun, and just really gonna always remind me of this time in my life. Another black metal artist, Dimmu Borgir. Specifically, I've been listening to their album from the early 2000s, uh, Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. Um, this is like a more like kind of like the symphonic black metal. And I never really gotten too much into Dimmu Borgir. I like listening to their first album, like in passing back in the day, the more like straight up like early black metal stuff. But I never listened to like the early 2000 stuff. And people talk about Dimmu Borgir kind of like selling out. They're like a like international, like got like international somewhat like recognition within metal. And I really like this album though. It's really fun. It just goes along with that other black metal like Dark Funeral and stuff like that, like the early 2000s, like how black metal was at that time, and Immortal when they were releasing their early 2000s stuff. And I just am really liking it. It's just like it's been really fun, and really just been enjoying that album in particular. Um, but some other heavier stuff. Just kind of name some stuff off here. I've got Carcass's Heartwork, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. I used to listen to the first album that much. I never really liked Slaughter of the Soul as much. Then got more into it. Now it's really clicked with me. And so like I was talking about technical death metal, there's more like melodic death metal, and I wanted to get more into that as well. So that kind of just came with that. And we have Cryptopsy, and Gorgits Obscura. Gorgits Obscura just like was one I just like. It's just like such an acquired taste. Like people just like. I mean, me in particular, I just like didn't. It just took me a while to get into it. Like it didn't really click with me at first. I just thought it was just like way too like weird and avant-garde for me, I guess. But now it's like it's really like click with me, and I really enjoy listening to it. It's really influential and just like ahead of its time when it came out, and it's really good stuff. And I've really been enjoying listening to that. And I used to Gorga's one of the first like death metal bands I ever got into. Is I really liked especially their first album, Considered Dead. It's just like a straight up classic like old school death metal album. But they really like changed up their sound, and I've really been enjoying listening to that. I kind of want to listen to their one that came out in like 2011. I can't remember the name of it right now. Throw it on the screen. But really just interested in their stuff. They were just like have been fairly influential for what they've done, like experimenting with the sound and stuff. Also want to mention I've been listening to some death. Specifically, I've really been listening to Sounds of Perseverance. I've been really excited about that. I've also been listening to Symbolic and slipping my name right now. The name is slipping me right now, but just been going back to death because that was one of the first death metal bands I ever got into. Symbolic's one of the first death metal albums I remember listening to. I got into them. It's a good gateway album for a lot of people. and I just really like their sound, just like going back and just like appreciating and just like going with this other stuff like melodic and technical death metal. So they implemented stuff like that into their music as well, and also been listening to Dark Throne some here and there, and Love and Creation, classic. The Ten Commandments, really like that album. I've listened all those. I like a lot of those. I have on CD, and I've been listening to those on my CD as I've been playing like video games and stuff. And some other stuff outside of like the more like extreme stuff. Listening to System of a Down a bit. Got into like Fear Factory, Demanufacture. This is an album that I kind of like got into when I was when I first started getting into like metal music again, like right outside of high school, like as soon as I got out of high school. I was trying to get more into metal stuff, so it was like stuff like that. And another one is Machine Head, Burn My Eyes. I just never really like listened to the full albums. I was mostly they were just kind of like on my playlist. I remember liking them. I've been listening to the full albums. And there's like Nail Bomb. I actually listen to them a lot too. I haven't been listening to Nail Bomb too much, but they're around in the rotation. Also, I mentioned Converge, the classic metalcore band that just like changed the game, I guess, with especially with Jane Doe. So I've been listening to Jane Doe a lot. It's really just a solid album. That's been on rotation quite a lot. Listening to that one quite a lot. And I also want to listen to some thrash stuff, some like German thrash stuff, some big names within it. Creator, specifically to their album Violent Revolution. I've really been liking this album. Came out in like 01. And then Sodom, Persecution Mania, as like a late 80s, I believe. This came out, and I've really been liking that kind of thrash sound as well. Just fun stuff. I never really like dug too much into them. I've always been fairly aware of them, but I never really got into them, and I've been listening to those albums quite a lot. Also getting back more into some more extreme stuff here. Been listening to another big one that I've really been excited about recently is Intestine Balsam, and just like really their first two albums a lot, but specifically Banquet of Darkness. Really been loving that album and just listening to it a lot, and I'm really excited to get in more to their first album as well. And I've also been listening to Cynic Focus. That's going on with like some of like the avant-garde stuff, like more kind of just wonky, like space kind of themed death metal that I just didn't get into the first time around. Just been really interested in like how people used to experiment with it, and just like how people were just ahead of their time, and I've just been really just excited about stuff like that. And that's a good album, and I've been trying to get more into that. And I've been getting into Bad Mullet. So their album Nespith, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm trying my best with some of these names, but that's just like just solid, just crazy stuff going on there with that album. I just really like the sound of that. Just can't like think off the top of my head like exactly where I'd like categorize that. I guess just pretty brutal death, technical-ish, I guess I'd say. And then this band Origin, their self-titled, just like randomly like kind of stumbled across them, and really been liking that. Just more just like brutal stuff too. It kind of goes along with the Village. But recently some more like extreme metal I've been into is I've been listening to Human Serpent, the band Human Serpent, a bit. Just like I've known of them for years, and like I've listened. I just keep coming back to them over the years, and it's really like clicking with me a lot now. And I just listened to all their albums, or four full-length albums, and just been enjoying listening to them quite a lot too. And just found this band called Gigan, which is this apparently they've been around for a while, since like the late 90s, early 2000s, and they're like a kind of like technical death metal band that just like is more or less on like these like cosmic themes, like the kind of science fiction stuff. And I've just been loving stuff like that. I love the science fiction within like death metal and like technical death metal. That stuff was really fun. I've really been excited to explore them. They just like do it so well, And I've obviously been a fan of like science fiction stuff. I've talked about Artificial Brain, one of my favorite death metal bands ever, and they have that kind of science fiction kind of feel going on with their music, and with mixed with the technical death metal and kind of blackened death metal too. Um, but yeah, that was a lot there. But there's tons of metal music, like I said. Just really been listening to that a lot, and I've also been into some punk stuff as well. I've been just like I'm just been loving just like my heavy stuff, and it's not as heavy, but some of it can be. I guess one that kind of could be like a gateway into this is a kind of mix with extreme metals, Napalm Death. I'm listening to Napalm Death quite a bit, and but I've really just been getting into a lot of the anarcho-punk bands from like the late 70s, early 80s. Bands like Crass, Conflict, Rudimentary Penny, Flux of Pink Indians, and one of my favorites, probably my favorites out of the group, is the Icons of Filth. So I got into it like years ago, but now I've really been listening to them again, especially on Onward Christian Shoulders. Really incredible punk album, just really so solid. I've just been loving that. And there's another band that I came across. It's like I think they're either Swedish or Finnish. It's Tampere SS. They only released like 2 EPs back in the day, but just like straight up just within that like kind of anarcho punk kind of scene, and really been enjoying stuff like that. It's been fun listening to that. And I also my local record store recently got in like a big batch of like 7-inch records, bunch of like cool like punk stuff and like grind and just within all that stuff and like crust stuff, and I'll go over that and I'm gonna start doing my collection videos soon, so you'll be able to see all I have in there. But I got like a good chunk of those. I was really excited about that. I've been spinning those quite a lot, and so I'm excited to kind of talk about those in a later time. But punk has been a big thing. I got excited, and that was a big thing that got me like excited about it and digging more into it. Um, some like punk related stuff. It's like post hardcore stuff. It's like more of the poppier stuff. But listening to Thrice, Taking Back Sunday, and At the Drive-In. Those are all kind of ones I was listening to. And I should mention now is a good time. I have been listening to a lot of stuff on iPods. Just a lot of this music I've gotten put on my iPod. I just want to have a solid like digital music collection too. I made a video, of course, about my iPod Nano recently, but I went ahead and like refilled it up. I just got like a bunch of stuff on here now, of just like stuff that I'm excited about. Just tons of like the metal stuff I've been listening to, and just stuff from the past. And I'm excited to have all these on here. It's really just exciting to have it and be able to listen to them on here. And just love having that cover flow on here, like the old-fashioned cover flow is really cool. And also got myself one of these like iPod Classics. It's like the 5th generation, also known as people call it the iPod Video. The iPod Classic technically wasn't called the Classic until the 6th generation. But been listening to stuff on here a lot too, and I just got like just tons of music on here as well. And just like more like the old-fashioned kind of thing here, just like don't really have the cover flow or anything yet. It just has like all the artists on here, and I've just got tons of different music on here, and I'm really just been loving listening to music on my iPod. Just take it everywhere with me and just listen to music wherever I'm going. I've really just been enjoying it, and I just love having those devices. It's so fun. Just like nostalgic, and like I never had a kind of like a classic for iPods when I was younger, but I had this Nano is from when I got it in like 2007 or so. It still works great, and I'm just loving having the digital music on there. It's really great, fun stuff. But outside of that, some stuff that's outside of like the more hardcore stuff would be listening to Drake, his Take Care album. I don't know, I've just been going back to that album. I've just been really enjoying it. I really got into it like this time of year. It reminds me of this time of year back from like early high school. And it's really a solid album. I like a lot of the songs on there. Like some of it's kind of cringe and stuff, but like I'm no stranger to some cringe music. It's just fun. I just really enjoy it. Just really been liking listening to that. And some new stuff I've actually been listening to. Finally getting some new music that's been coming out. I've actually really been liking. The most the big album has been this album by a rapper called Dosone, and he's doing an album with a producer called Steel Tipped Dove, and it's called All Portrait No Chorus. It's just like this great like abstract hip hop album. Some really cool just beats on it, like these atmospheric kind of ambient beats, and then just like different just like abstract like avant-garde kind of rap, and I just really have been enjoying it. It's really been a really solid album. I've been going back to it quite a lot, listening to it quite a lot, and my favorite of the year that's come out so far. Um, and there is some other stuff that are contenders already though, but I've also been listening to the new Pigeon Pit album that came out. This can kind of go along with the punk stuff. It's a full punk band, but this is definitely probably a contender. Like, it's going to be high up for my whole year. I haven't been listening to it too much yet because kind of like saving it more for like the spring and like summer months, because it just like I just love listening to Pigeon Pit around that time, and I'm just really excited about it. Like, I just love Pigeon Pit. They're one of my favorite bands, favorite artists. I just really love them so much, and just really excited to keep listening to this album going into the future, especially as the spring starts coming in. And I've also been listening to Ethel Cain, her new album, EP. It's actually called an EP. It was like an hour and a half long. It's called Perverts, and I didn't really know. Like, I listened to some of like the Preacher's Daughter before, never really got into it. Didn't really like it that much. But this is like a lot different. It's just like a straight up like dark ambient drone album, and it's just incredible. Honestly, I've really been enjoying it. It's just like pulling me in, and just I really like it. It's really solid stuff. It's like nowhere near like pop music or anything at all. Like, she's like kind of gotten somewhat recognized as like a kind of a pop musician, like somewhat on her last album, had some like poppier stuff in there, but this is just straight up like some like dreary stuff here, and I really enjoy it. And if anybody who's into like more like darker music like that, don't like miss this one. It's actually really solid. Um, but other than that, I've been listening to a few records as well. I just want to mention here at the end, just a few. Iggy Pop, The Idiots, one of my favorites. And also goes along with that is Joy Division's Closer. Those are just like really big when I first started collecting records, and I'll talk about that in my record collection videos. But I've been really just excited about going back to those. Those are like big albums I was into when I first started collecting records, and it's been really great to go back and just like appreciate them and really listen to the records. Like I said, it's been like trying to get my record collections like quality over quantity, and I'm really in that spot now. But it's just really been excited about those again. And some other stuff I had early on too that I've been listening to. There's a lot of black artists that I like listening to. Is some Miles Davis and Helen Wolf, Leadbelly, and some Al Green. And there's really been this good mix of some genres there, like some blues and folk, jazz, soul, R&B. I just really love that stuff, bro. It's really just solid. Just love that old school stuff, and it's just really fun, and just love having some black artists for representation in my collection. But yeah, that's the video for today. It was probably a kind of long-winded one today. I don't know how long I was talking there, but I knew it was gonna be a bit of a long one. But I love music so much. I think I'm gonna make a video about just how much I love music sometime. But just really been especially enjoying music so much here recently, and I just love it so much, and it's just like such a big part of my life, and it's just been so fun to listen to all these things and really just dig into. I've always been a big fan of just metal music, and like the stuff I'll talk about that in my collection videos too. So I have a lot of music that reflects that, but I just like was into like the more like mainstreamish metal stuff that I'd like to discover as a kid. Like, I didn't dig too deep with things, and just didn't really know where to look, and just like a lot of the harder stuff like turned me off a bit when I was younger. And but then I've just grown so much within it, and I just love metal music and just like metal and punk stuff so much. It just makes me so happy, and just like makes me feel like who I am, and just like only certain people are really into stuff like that. So it just makes me feel like in like somewhat of a community, like somebody who actually likes stuff like that. But yeah, I should probably stop talking now and go ahead and close the video out. Please support my friends here on the side if you can. It'd be awesome. Links in the description. And thank you guys for watching today. And let me know in the comments down below what you guys have been listening to. I always like to hear what you guys have been listening to this month. And hopefully I can turn you on to some stuff that you might want to check out as well. So yeah, see you guys later, and thanks for watching again.